17. On the way to your room, I heard the Kinks sing out I'm Thinking of the Days, so I knew you were up. I knocked twice on a door that bore your name in red and green capitals and gently pushed, and you were sat in the corner in a high-backed chair only half shielding a life-size cardboard cutout of Elvis Presley, finger pointed to the ceiling, dressed in a white and gold all-in-one. It was September, but the Elvis calendar on your wall said July because that was your favourite picture of him. And you told me once that you kissed that picture every night, then denied it the next day, but you blushed crimson, so I knew it was true. But you were fidgety that day, twisting a tortured tissue into knots, unravelling, starting again. How's things? Good, you said, but it was an awkward reply. Tight. I love your hair. You tucked a strand behind your ear with the shyness of a 17-year-old who hadn't been used to compliments, so they never quite landed. You never got to hold them. My head was full of things to say, but I had learnt that this was your time to show me who you were. How's Sam? I asked, struggling not to grin because I knew what was coming. And you looked up, and there was the sunshine. The upturned corners of young love. I saw him last night, you said, putting your fingers across your lips like a zip because Sam was our secret. We went to Raffles, the best chips in the world. Have you been? God, the question was as earnest as you. Full of expectation and longing to keep this conversation going. The best chips, I replied. I think I want to marry him. And you glanced round at Elvis as if to check if he was listening. What would he say to that? Ugh, Elvis doesn't even know I exist. I remember thinking that was his loss, and that for such a long time I hadn't known either. Did I tell you how I met Sam? God, you had. So many times I could have repeated it verbatim, but I let you tell me again. How he waited for you outside the factory where you stitched hankies. How you made him wait 8 weeks for a peck in the cheek. How you lay awake at night wondering how long you could keep the secret from your mother. He was strict, you had told me. Leather belt strict. You had been going strong, and that phrase still makes me laugh. For 10 weeks now, and he was the most amazing kisser. But you got distracted after that. The music had stopped, and you started looking for a tissue, and I passed you one from my handbag, kissed your cheek, said goodbye. I pressed play on the CD player as I left and caught a stood outside the door for a long time. Forehead and palms pressed against the cool of the wood, wondering how my heart could soar and break at the same time. It had started with post-it notes that littered every surface of the living room, these luminous squares of green and yellow that yelled repeated commands. Pay window cleaner, pay credit union, ring Kathy. Pay window cleaner, pay credit union, ring Kathy, except the window cleaner never got paid, nor the credit union, and you never ever rang me. And then there were the things that I told you that you forgot. Oh, and the things that you told me 1,000 times that day when I turned up to visit you during election time and you closed the door in my face. You told me you were sick of Sinn Féin canvassers and you weren't voting that year. Oh, and the time you bought me chocolates for my birthday, you left the room, came back in, thanked me for them and ate them all, like every single one, even the coffee ones, and you hated coffee. The phone calls in the small hours of the morning to tell me that you were worried that Dad hadn't come home when Dad had been dead for 5 years. Oh, there were countless visits to the doctor, diagnosis of loneliness, anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, psychosis. None of them were helpful because none of them were right. 10 years in elderly care told me what this was. This was dementia. But you were 48. You were found one night wandering in the rain in your nightdress, barefoot and soaked through. It took 3 months in a unit for them to decide that this was early onset Alzheimer's, and 3 seconds for me to decide that you would live with me. On the first night, You had a delirium that had you ripping the curtains from the rails, biting, kicking, screaming, thrashing, spitting, unable to find the bathroom. You soiled yourself. And you cried like a child. So I took you to your home, where you attacked me in the night thinking I was an intruder. You thought I was stealing from you. Christ, you phoned the police. And so finally, after guilt that sucked the very core from me, came an acceptance of sorts that I couldn't continue. And I placed you under care, where you flatlined into a shell of all that you had been. And I admit that visits became painful, less frequent. I consoled myself with the fact that you would not remember whether I had been to visit or not. And years passed. I had already lost you. A phone call came to work one day to tell me that you had been admitted to hospital with a chest infection, where amidst your rage and delirium they told me it was terminal lung cancer, and they transferred you to hospice. You were 59. I visited one day during music therapy and stood frozen in the doorway as I watched you dance in your chair to the music of the Kinks as much as your frailty would allow, and you were lit up with youth and joy and something I'd never seen in you. Hope. As I approached you, turned to me, face full of mischief, and said, I bloody love the Kinks. Do you like them? I'm Keg New Love. What's your name? God, you had introduced yourself with your maiden name. Something inside me folded as I realised that this is who you were before my father broke you. Oh, but even in the moment, I knew I was being given a gift because I was meeting my mum before she was my mum. So I played along. I sat beside you. You told me you were 17, that you were dating a boy called Sam. We talked about the places you went to, the music you loved, and all the things your mother wouldn't let you do. And you made me laugh so hard. We established a routine of sorts. So I would arrive and find you vacant, unengaged. I would play the music of the Kinks, and there you were, 17-year-old Kay Agnew. And I fell in love with you. With your cheek and your charm, your infectious laugh and your insatiable passion for the Kinks. On the night I lost you the second time, the nurse said you'd been distressed, that you had been calling out, and unable to settle you, she put on the music of the Kinks and left the room. She come back a few minutes later to turn the volume down and found you gone. It still tickles me to think that as the Kinks sang out, oh yeah, you really got me, someone came and got you. The medical records say you died age 59. But me, I know different. Because the Kinks were playing. You died age 17.